My first one was that I walked away from the conference really thinking a lot about how automation and personalization can basically both be the same thing. They don't have to be at odds. And there was a lot of discussion, particularly in Rick Barker's talk, about kind of leaning into some tools that will auto respond to things, which I think people are like, oh, that's not, whatever. That's not very cool. That's all, it's markety. It's not personal. But the problem is that when you become a little bit successful and start building an audience, it's no longer all that reasonable for you to be personal and respond to everyone individually. So what happens is if total personalization is your goal, you end up doing none of it. And then suddenly no one's getting responses. And so by being smart about the way you can automate things, whether they be little voice messages, welcoming someone who subscribes on Instagram or whatever it is, automating your welcome stream, email, all that sort of stuff can just help you still make a personal connection, even though you're not literally delivering it each and every time.
My number one was the idea that it's important to readdress who you are as an artist, your uniqueness, and how you're going to stand out. And I got that from two distinct things. I ended up getting pulled in to mentor an artist last second. And it was an artist named Daniel out of Seattle. I forget what his band name was. Great music. It was like this mix of reggae and other cool beats. We wouldn't call him reggae, but it's really well done and great voice. And a lot of it, he was talking about trying to figure out a release plan. And we were leaning into so much about him just really defining his brand. And we talked about the release plan stuff, but really that you can have the plan, but if you don't have the thing to stand out and understand the hooks about yourself as an artist, it's going to be hard to get attention, increasingly hard. There's just so many releases. And then I went to a session hosted by Alberto Chapa, and it was all about using tracks in your show. He had an artist with him to help demonstrate. Her name was Lorena Lee. And what I thought was so powerful about it is artists are venturing back out and starting to play again. A lot of the people that are listening to this podcast are artists like yourself, Chris, where they do a lot of solo stuff. They might have a band. Ideally, they would love to have a band with them all the time. But he really walked through how you can add tracks to really enhance your live performance. And I know we'll talk about the live band makeover in a bit, but I liked this one as well because what he was talking about is oftentimes solo artists feel like they can't get a bigger gig or a bigger stage because it's just them. It sounds small. And you really walked through step by step and they showed it. Lorena came out and played a song and it was amazing. It was just her and a ukulele. I'm like, that was mind blowing. That was great. But then they talked about adding the tracks because she really wanted to incorporate how the music really sounds. And it was just such an amazing example about how an artist, even when you're feeling like you don't have many resources, can sound bigger and really still cast the musical vision you want for your live show. I'm going to have Alberto on the podcast. I told him it was amazing because I loved how he even showed the gear. That's the kind of stuff that I really like. He had different, like, if you just want to make a simple version of this, here's how you can do it. At the indie level, DIY level, when you got a little bit of resources, here's a version. And here's probably how the pros are doing it. And he went through everything step by step. So it was just really helpful. But ultimately, all that to sum up, it was like there was a lot of things about it felt like, hey, we've been in this maybe malaise for 2 years. It's time to kind of brush off the branding and how do I stand out and rethink about live shows, rethink about how I'm messaging myself. And as I start releasing more and more again.
Yeah, I missed that one. So I'll have to go back and watch
It's good. Highly recommend it. Yes.
That's cool. My second thing is a very obvious statement, but TikTok is just such a massive opportunity for us. I interviewed a guy named Jeremy from a group called Windborn that makes, sort of ancient vocal music. It's not the type of stuff you'd think would go crazy on TikTok, but he's just doing a handful, maybe 5 to 10 little tricks that he applies to his videos, and they go crazy viral. They've had videos that have millions and millions of views. It's helping fill up their shows. And really, it's just by thinking about that platform in a very particular way, not really changing anything about their own art or what they want to do. They're just kind of packaging it, I guess, for TikTok. And it's amazing. So I left inspired to actually finally care about TikTok.
Yeah, I need to go back and watch that one. I was busy at the same time. My second one was, it's so important to just show up and start. And I got that vibe from so many people I talked to at the conference there that were like, I wanted to come. I'm not sure, especially after the last 2 years, what to be focusing on, but just coming here and getting started and getting back in it was big. And even just when going after opportunities, like the idea of just showing up and going for it, so much of the content, whether it be about marketing or live shows or all the other stuff related to releasing music, oftentimes it's just like, just pick a place and dive in. It's not going to be perfect. Don't wait till you have everything perfect, because there's always going to be something, and it's a journey. Just find a place that you feel is an area of opportunity for you and just start. Show up and start.
That's really similar to one point I was going to make later. So I'll just move it up to this one, which is just do the first hard thing. And this is kind of in relation to, like, I realized a lot of people were making a lot of notes because they were super inspired and they had all these ideas. And I even, on Saturday night, I think it was, I ran into a guy probably in his 70s who had this notebook of like 30 things. He's like, I can't wait to get back and like tackle this list. And I was like, whoa. That's great. But just do the first thing. Like, because I think what happens is we all go home with a billion ideas, and then real life sets in. We've got responsibilities. And so you start kicking yourself for not checking things off the list quicker or tackling it all at once. And so I just wanted to remind people it's fine to just go one thing at a time. Pick the hardest thing and just start with the first task on that, because it's not like big projects can be done in one fell swoop.
Yeah. All right. My third one, because you moved your 5 up to 3. My third one was, it's okay to chart your own path. Your musical journey doesn't look like everybody else's. So like there's a Rick Barker, I need to watch that. I heard rave reviews about his session. I had something going on at the same time. And you might go into a session like that, and Rick has so much great information about marketing or whatever. And you might be like, this is amazing, but I don't know if this is for me. But then you might show up into, well, I talked to an artist who did show up to your TikTok session, Chris. And I don't know if you saw him. What day was your session? Because I only saw him the day your session was.
It was Sunday.
Yeah, maybe he only wore his outfit on Sunday. But
the monk?
yes, this gentleman.
Chant. Yes,
Gregorian rock is what it was.
Sorry, Gregorian rock. That's what I meant. Yeah.
He walked up to me after your session. I was out in the hallway, and he was a very tall man. I'm a very smaller frame guy. He's got this giant monk outfit on, and he says, hi, I'm so-and-so. I'm not really a monk. And I'm like, oh, I didn't think you really were. I thought you were a Jedi. That's what I was leaning towards.
You're not a monk. You're just a brilliant marketer.
He said, well, this works if I want to be a Jedi for Halloween as well, or something. He said something like that. But anyway, he said, that TikTok session was amazing. That was for me. He said, I do Gregorian rock, and that is exactly what I needed to hear. I'm so inspired. I'm so excited. I'd kind of been like sitting on the sidelines of TikTok, kind of confused, thinking it's just for Gen Zers or people that want to shake their booty on camera. But he's like, that really inspired me. And we do this Gregorian rock, and man, the whole weekend was worth it just for that. So to me, it's the idea of allowing yourself to understand that your path might be different, and there might be options for you. Like TikTok's a good example. On the surface, someone like that might think this platform is not for me, but I think that's why I liked the session that you did. I felt like a lot of the stuff that people see on TikTok for artists, some of it can be obvious and on the surface, where other things that are working might be a little deeper. And I felt like you surfaced that. And I think it helped a lot of artists who their genres aren't pop or rock or hip hop, which is what you see a lot of times on these platforms.
Yeah. I think I might flip around the order of my last two takeaways because the final one will make me cry. So my next one, which I guess is number 4 now, I was blown away by how genres don't mean much in a particular way. Yes, they mean a lot when you're crafting your sound and you're trying to reach an audience and you're targeting your ads. It's good to, fit within a certain milieu or whatever. But like everyone at the conference just liked good music. There were people watching Tom Jackson's live band makeover that, if I were sort of to get into stereotyping, I would think, well, this group of people won't like this. Not true. The band rocked. I mean, I even say that kind of music that they play is not my thing. Like, I would never proactively go seek that out. But when they played and when they put on this amazing show at the end, I was like, I'm sold. That's good music. The whole room was just moving.
Electric.
Like, it was so cool. And like,
yeah.
And that was just a sort of big explosive version of, I think, what happens a million times at that conference. It's like the jam room. There's someone playing a violin that may have a sort of classical or Celtic fiddle background. And like in comes a funk pianist. And now in comes like a rapper. And 10 minutes later, they're making this amazing song that they literally just made up on the spot. Like, I just am really inspired by how, genre just sort of disappears.
Yeah.
In that place.
Yeah. Number 4 for me was you need to, I kind of alluded to this. I realized it was a separate point, was you need to put yourself in uncomfortable situations to grow. And what I was specifically thinking about was the people that put their USB drive in the bucket. And at first I thought, is anyone going to put it in the bucket? Did we communicate well enough that this is a thing? And we got tons of them. And I realized certain people had a strategy. Some people got these fancy, like big cassette tape looking USB drives to think that theirs would get picked better, which did work for a couple.
And then one of them was even like a little green dinosaur or something, wasn't it?
I thought one was a Lego. I don't know. Something like that. Yeah, there was something like that. Anyway, I was talking to a couple of the artists that got selected, and one of them was Brittany and the Bliss Tones, husband and wife duo, and their song got selected. And man, that they're standing up there kind of in front of the whole audience. And Ross Golan and Cara Diagordi are, very accomplished songwriters that are going to critique it live right after hearing it first. And I thought their song was amazing. And anyway, I just really respect the people that are willing to do that. And I've had to do that a lot in my career and still do, just not that one. That's one I can't do.
Can't do the songwriter Shark Tank. My last takeaway was that I think in order for musicians to really know themselves, they have to listen to other musicians' stories and just feel like they're part of a community, which I know, I don't know how sort of cliche that sounds, but like, I think when you're cut off from a sense of curiosity about what other people are going through, there's just only so much inspiration and ideas you can have that are worth anything. And like, I don't even mean this from a networking perspective. It's just like talking to someone else and being reminded of the basic struggles and successes that, every musician can kind of relate to. Like, it was like my pilot light was barely on. And then hearing from 1,000 people was like, oh, now I'm back. It was weird.
Yes. I agree 100%. Number 5, I put TikTok is a hot mess, or can appear to be a hot mess, but if used properly, it's a big opportunity. I think I would say also not just TikTok, but video and short form video. We did our session, our live taping of the DIY Musician podcast that will come down the feed probably after this episode. But we really talked about video in general and recasting the idea of what video is, but just short form video is an opportunity. And really TikTok has exploded. And I think, like I said earlier with your presentation, I think it helped people understand how to think outside of it, of just the stupid quick trends that we see on TikTok, the things that feel like it's not me being my artist or my artist brand or artist persona and just being a hamster on a wheel for no reason on a social wheel. But I feel like there's an opportunity in all these areas that I think we dove into a little bit more over the weekend and really highlighted that.